go back, so career's going well, and then 2024, you don't have a fight, there's obviously the merger. I have to imagine there was a bit of uncertainty. Can you just go back to what it was like, last year and then now? I mean, I'd imagine things couldn't be going better. You're obviously in the finals of the tournament.
Yeah, so there was the acquisition of Bellator, and then at that same time, I injured myself. I actually had an ACL reconstruction. So, those things kind of compounded and made for a long absence from the sport. And that was really tough. But by the time I recovered from that ACL, I was ready to go, man. I wanted to be busy this year. I wanted to fight as much as possible. My manager contacted me and was like, "Hey, I got you into the tournament." And I was like, "Dude, perfect. That's exactly what we want. This is exactly the opportunity we were looking for." And this is the plan. We thought I was gonna win this tournament at the beginning. We knew it would be tough though, and it's gone according to plan. We've been working hard, winning fights, and this has been the most fun I've had in this sport that I can remember.
I was going to ask you, can you elaborate a little bit on that? Like, to go through what you went through in 24, I mean, how do you describe going out there and getting your hand raised twice after that layoff, and just whether it be a monkey off your back, whether it just be that excitement, how would you describe it?
I mean, winning a professional fight is always a magical experience. I always tell people there's nothing in the world like it, at least nothing I've come across. But it definitely was a little extra sweet, especially that first one back. I was like screaming, "I'm back" at the camera, because a lot of people probably didn't know what the hell I was talking about. But to me, it was like, man, finally, all this work, all this disappointment with the injuries and the time off, and like we're back, we're doing the damn thing and feeling good.
Obviously, there could be, a little bit of a one final boss at the end of this, potentially Corey Anderson, maybe Doublet, maybe something out of left field. Have you let yourself think about what could come after this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think a fight against Corey Anderson would be incredible. In the back of my mind, we've always wanted to step into boxing a little bit too. So maybe something there. Because I think I'm one of the few guys in the sport of MMA that could box at the professional level, really. But first thing first, we gotta beat Shoeface, which is no easy task. So
I'll leave you with that one. What do you think of Shoeface's game and what he brings to the table as an opponent?
Yeah, I mean, he brings experience, toughness, world-class jiu-jitsu. He brings a lot. He's got more experience than me, but I proved in my last fight that I can beat guys with a lot of experience. So I think he's a tough guy. I think he can grind out wins in close fights. He's proven that. I don't think he can strike like I can. I don't think he can wrestle like I can. I don't think he has the conditioning I have. So I think I can get it done.
Sullivan, your last fight was your first fight to actually go to the scorecards. How valuable was that experience to have that time in the smart cage before a 5-round fight coming up?
Yeah, that was absolutely huge, especially to do it against a guy like Phil Davis. Really, I think says a lot about my skills, and I proved a lot to myself there. Experience is a big factor in this sport, and that's something my team and I've always known. And we've chased rounds at the amateur level and then at the professional level. And, I just happened to finish a lot of fights early, which is great. But it was definitely nice to go that 3 rounds, show that I have conditioning to beat out one of the best guys in the world. And, the skills are there.
Now, being that it's, tournament style this season, were you keeping your eye on the other side of the bracket and kind of seeing how that matchup was going to play out for the finals?
Yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit, but I didn't really start thinking about the finals until I got through Phil. And I didn't really start thinking about Phil until I got through Alex Polizzi. So, I'm very good at compartmentalizing and focusing. And, right now, we talk about potentially Corey Anderson or Yak Shmuradov or boxing Jake Paul or whatever you want to talk about. But, I'm dead set focus on Thursday.
Now, last one for me, being that it's, the first title fight opportunity for you Is there a difference in kind of the preparation mentally and in the gym, or what was the difference like going into this preparation?
The only difference is preparing for 2 extra rounds. So it's just, longer sparring sessions, longer pad sessions, things like that, which is, physically challenging. And we had to sort of adapt the camp around that because, these workouts were, longer and just as intense with, 2 more rounds tacked on at the end of them. And after 2 camps back to back, so we had to, sort of tailor the camp, build in a little more rest and recovery time to keep my body from running down. I think we did a really good job. I'm in the best physical condition I've ever been in. Better shape than I was against Phil. Better shape than I was against Polizzi. I'm dialed in.
And just an extra one, you got a plan for the 500K if you get that checked out?
I don't have a fun answer for you. I'm gonna, low risk investments. We're gonna plan for the future. Sorry, guys. Well, yeah.
Good luck.
Anyone else?
Oh, yeah.
She's ready.
This tournament has been a journey of highs and lows for you, I can imagine. What has been the most challenging aspect of the season, and how have you overcome it?
The most challenging aspect of the season has been the short duration between the 3 fights, the back-to-back-to-back fight camps. We do not mess around when it comes to preparing for a fight, and we really, I push my body to the limit, meaning like up against the line, the threshold of overtraining where you actually harm yourself. We toy with that line the whole time. So to do that for 6 months was extremely arduous. Like I said, we made some adjustments, and we were able to get through it without any injuries, which I think says a lot about the team and the coaches. And, I'm better than ever because of it, but it was super difficult.
How does it feel going to Hard Rock on this Thursday?
It's exciting. It's exciting, man. This is why you get into the sport, big fights on the big stage, a lot of pressure, but damn it, it's fun.
What's the one memory that sticks out in your mind from all your career so far? What's that one moment?
Honestly, getting my hand raised against Phil Davis was a huge moment for me. In my life, it was a big, just affirmation for me. Proof that all the work I put into the sport has been worth it. And I feel like going into this fight, I have an incredible amount of momentum.
And also, what's your message to all your fans who've been following you since day one? What should they know?
Thanks for following. As you guys know, I always bring the heat, and Thursday's going to be no different. Thanks.
Just real quick here.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your toughest fight in the tournament was Phil Davis? At least on paper, obviously we don't know.
We're going to find out on Thursday if it was. Going into the tournament, I probably thought, looking at the bracket, that Phil was probably the toughest guy in the bracket. But Shoeface is a tough guy. It's it's a 5-round fight. It could be a really tough fight. There's just really no telling. I think Phil was. If you're looking at who's a tough matchup for me, a guy like Phil, because he's a better wrestler than me and so much more experienced, was on paper that was a tough matchup. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Do you almost prefer it this way, that maybe on paper you got sort of a tougher matchup out of the way? Because I imagine going into this final after beating Phil Davis and not only that, but going for the full distance, your confidence must be really high going into this fight.
Yeah, that was a huge boon to my confidence. Absolutely. Like I said, I'm riding a ton of momentum right now. I have a lot of belief in myself. I did before the Phil fight, but to believe that you can beat a guy like Phil and to do it are two different things. You know what I mean? So I proved a lot to myself and probably to everybody else. Thanks.
So, I have
Yeah.
a question. So you wrestled at Arizona State. We have a lot of high school athletes. What's the best piece of advice you can give to someone going through the college career process who want to play a college sport?
So somebody that wants to play a college sport.
I know it's for a while now.
I guess if you're going through the recruiting process, meaning that you want to you make contact with schools, I would say, having a coach that at your high school who likes you and can vouch for your character, reaching out to these coaches, and sending them a tape, sending them transcripts, whatever, and saying, hey, I got a guy, he's good, I can vouch for his character, he's going to drink the Kool-Aid and buy into the program. That was a big part of the reason that I got my scholarship to Arizona State, because I had a coach in high school, Coach Howe, who went to bat for me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I want to talk about like the mental side of the game. What's like you're always trying to improve that. Like, what's one thing you did like this camp to try to improve that side?
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot. I work with a mental coach named Al Fuentes, and we do a lot of meditation and just talk sessions to work through stuff. And I think the biggest thing for me is like keeping it all in perspective, meaning that like you are playing a sport here. I know it's like you start attaching things like college and at my level money to it. It's it's work. It gets serious. But it's like you need to realize that you're playing a sport, which is fun. And if you lose track of the fun, the performance will suffer.
Thank you.
No problem.
Sullivan, you mentioned the impressive jiu-jitsu game of Antonio Carlos Jr. Do you think that's going to cause you any problems with your wrestling? And do you maybe plan to keep the fight staying?
Yeah, I mean, I wrestle in college. I'm a good wrestler. I always plan on mixing it up when I fight. I think my biggest advantage over Shoeface is my striking. I don't think it would take a rocket science to figure that out. Like, I don't think I'm giving anything away to his team by saying that to you right now. I think they probably realize that I want to knock him out. No problem.
Anyone else in the room? Okay, great. Shady on Zoom.
Then we see fighters like Johnny Evans, Usman Nurmagomedov, and Dakota Ditcher being described as the face of the PFL. But your entire professional career has been within Bellator or PFL. Do you feel like you're up there in the mix with them, or do you feel like you're headed in that direction? And what does it mean to be considered one of those faces of the company?
I think I'm headed in that direction. I think the skills are there, the level is there. I haven't gotten like quite the push from the organization that they have. I don't really like blame anybody for that, but I'm on my way. Winning this tournament, going on to fight Corey Anderson, whoever afterwards. It's coming. I'm gonna get the push and I think become one of the faces of the organization. Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, I'm not much of a bettor, but I am a numbers guy, and my favorite scenario is when a fighter is an underdog in the books, but a favorite with the fans. According to Topology and Verdict, you're the favorite. You have over a 66% pick rate on Topology for this fight. Does it feel like you've won over the fans? Do you feel extra support this time going around? And what does it mean for your fight performance?
I suppose I've won some fans over, but I wish they would follow me on Instagram.
Let them know your handle so they can follow.
Yeah, Sullivan Cauley on Instagram. Come on, guys. I beat Phil Davis and I gained like 150 followers. I was like, what's going on here?
So hopefully it comes up again.
Yeah, hell yeah. Thanks.
Lorenzo.
Hey, Sullivan, good to talk to you again, brother.
You
Your
too.
opponent Antonio is a past tournament winner. He's well established in PFL. How familiar were you with him and his game while you were making your own run through Bellator the past few years?
Yeah, I mean, I pay attention to the sport and the top guys. We're always familiar with him. And then my grappling coach, Jai, has been training with, has students competing against Antonio Carlos for 20 years in Brazil. So like we're very aware of him and his skill set and what he likes to do and, the quality of opponent he is. I would say we're very aware.
And last for me, there's no doubt that you love to finish your fights in style. I wonder, do you ever let yourself even entertain the thought of maybe being one of the top finish artists in PFL now that you've fully merged for Bellator?
I haven't really thought about like weighing myself against anybody else in that regard. But I do know I'm a world-class fight finisher. If you make a mistake in front of me, you could wake up with a flashlight in your face. There's no question. I've proven that I can do it not just with punches, but kind of from anywhere, and with a bunch of different weapons. So, I don't think right now it's like, oh, I'm the best finisher. I would say, I need to prove it a little more, but, you guys are going to see a lot more finishes from me, I would say.
Can't wait to see it. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Last question, Mills.
Hey, how's it going, Sullivan? It's MMA Locker Room on the Culture Sports Radio. How you feeling today?
Good, how are you?
Good, man. I mean, your name's been buzzing, around the MMA community since that win over Ben Parrish. But I was at that actual event where you fought Luke Trainer, and I just wanted to ask, where did you learn more from? Did you
I definitely learned from both. It's tough to say which one I learned more from. Honestly, probably the win over Davis, just because, it was 3 hard rounds in the cage, and I got bloodied up and fought hard and won a close fight. I think that was probably more valuable, but I mean, it's kind of, who knows? I learned a lot from both.
Now, and one guy that you learned a lot from is Ryan Bader. Has he given you any advice going into this fight?
Bader's just told me to be confident. It's kind of, he helps me game plan. He helped me game plan for Phil, but he was just like, man, like, you're better than these guys. You know what I mean? He's like, there, very few people in the world I think you can't beat, if anybody. So he just wants me to be confident and just go do what I do and trust the process, trust that it's going to work out.